Welcome to the Great American Collectible Show, seen Wednesdays on the Sports Collectors Daily Facebook page and the Great American Collectibles Facebook page. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Spotify. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by the National Sports Collectors Convention and Sports Collectors Daily. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all your hobby news, features, and more, go to sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now your host, Tom Zappola, and Red Sox Hall of Famer, Rico Petrocelli.
Hey, yeah, nice to see you. Hi, what's that hat? Keep punching.
Keep on punching.
What is that, a boxer's hat?
You know who gave this to me?
Yeah, Tony.
No.
Joe.
Actually, Mickey Finn gave it to me.
Mickey, yeah.
At Tony's funeral.
Oh, no kid. He brought a hat?
He had it in his car. He said, I want to give you something.
Oh, that's nice. Mickey was
a pretty good boxer.
I played golf with him, but not a bad golfer either.
Good guy.
I said, when did you have time to play golf? He says, in between punches. Anyway,
yeah, he gave me this, so I wanted to wear it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Keep on punching.
No,
welcome. What's wrong?
No, I'm waiting. Go ahead.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zappola, my co-host and paisan, Red Sox Hall of Famer, Rico Petrocelli. Remember, you can follow us on any platform now. We're on everybody's platform, including YouTube, Facebook, all that other stuff, Spotify, and
wonderful.
980 WCAP up in the Boston area.
Yep.
Nice little radio station.
Very nice.
By the way, you know Ryan Johnson?
Yeah.
Ryan could be moving over to the Sports Hub.
Oh, really?
He's getting considered for that morning. Yeah, Ryan's a good boy. All right, listen, before we get into we have a great show today. We've got Chuck and Stacy Whisman from Wheatland Auctions. Yeah. We got our good friend Mike Provenzale from Heritage Auctions is going to be guest hosting. And then towards the end, we have Scotty Russell from the Collector Connection. He's got a big auction starting, so we got a chock full of everything. But first, our headline, very simple headline. The tickets for the 2024 National are now on sale. Wow. The first 100 all-access VIP packages purchased will receive a very special VIP edition T-shirt, and you're going to be contacted by email. The first 500 regular VIP packages purchased will receive a random, previously signed 8x10 photo of some famous athlete. I don't know, it could be Rico Petrocelli.
Not me. No, I don't know.
For more information, you can buy your tickets. They're start as low as $25. Go to the nscc.com, nationalsportscollectors.com. All right, let's chat with the folks from Wheatland. Hi, guys. Now, hold on, Chuck. I got to ask you this question coming out of the gate. Your wife is at the store busting her hump, and you are where?
I am in Nassau, the Bahamas.
Any particular reason why?
I still help out with environmental and energy projects across the globe. So I do a lot to support the Bahamian government on different things, and was asked to come in to help on some strategic initiatives here. So
that's funny. That's like Rico. Rico's helping out the Italian government. And he tells me that next week he's going to Tuscany to do the same thing.
Ooh, I wish.
Anyway,
anywhere is warm.
I know,
That's
really.
where I want to be.
First of all, how was your Thanksgiving, guys?
It was wonderful. We had two separate Thanksgivings, so we got to see both sides of the family. We have two of our three girls are in college now, so They were home with us. So it was so nice to have everyone home. It's nice to set 5 spots at the table for the non-Thanksgiving days to have the girls there. And so now we're on the countdown till Christmas break when we can get everybody home again.
So everybody's back for Christmas. You know, this is the first year at my house in 30 years that Ellen and I have handed it off to the kids. Christmas Eve is, every year there's been 40, nieces, nephews, siblings, children, grandchildren. We've handed it all off now to my daughter, Jessica.
That's great. At
and
your age, you should.
We're excited about it. I think so.
You are? Yeah,
I'm very excited about it. Anyway, your auction ends on Sunday, okay? First thing out of the gate is the PSA 3 Bowman mantle. How is that doing?
That's doing really well. I think I was just looking at that. That is 8,000 right now. So, I'm thinking that's probably going to end, I don't know, somewhere 14, 16,000 maybe.
That's
we'll
great.
see. It's got really nice eye appeal. little off center. If it was a little better centered, it'd probably be a higher grade, but just a great card. And came from a consigner who only collected from when he was a kid that year. And this is our last auction selling his 51 Bowmans.
Wow. The 51 Bowman Mantle.
That's his true rookie card.
Yeah, I know it, but Topps doesn't have that card, does he?
No.
No, so it's just the Bowman.
That was the first year. That was the year before the 52 Topps. And it's
know,
true. No, but it is his true rookie card. I have one. I have a PSA 2 that I picked up 10 years ago.
I saw him as a rookie.
That's right, you did.
So, no card, but I...
well, I don't want to hear it then.
I did have a 52 Mantle as a kid.
Yeah, when we talk to a lot of people in the industry, because it's his true rookie, a lot of people just are trying to buy up that card because they just still see a lot of good appreciation capability with that card.
Yeah. That's nice.
So educate us about the 2023 Topps Cosmic Chrome Ohtani. As you know, I know nothing about modern and ultramodern cards, and Rico knows less.
No, below. Go ahead.
But tell us about that card. What is the uniqueness about that card?
So Topps is the regular set, then Topps Chrome comes out, and then they make a really rare Cosmic edition of Topps Chrome. And one of the rare inserts in that is called a Supernova card. And if you get the regular Ohtani, that's very hard to get. Well, this is the Superfractor 1/1 of that rare card.
Oh, wow.
And it was graded by PSA and is at PSA 10. So just a very rare Ohtani card. And this past year, a lot of people have been high on Ohtani, but this year, I think you've heard from more collectors and more experts in baseball saying, wow, if he can stay healthy even a little bit more, this career that Ohtani is going to have is going to be unlike anyone. I mean, you always compared him to Babe Ruth because Babe Ruth was a pitcher too.
Yep.
But Babe Ruth transferred from being a full-time pitcher to a full-time hitter. Ohtani's still doing both. And I mean, to think of what the end of his career could look like is just.
Yeah. I mean,
sure like to see him
be a
in the
Hall
Red
of
Sox.
Famer.
Sure like to see him in the Red Sox.
Never happened to Red Sox.
Well, I don't know about that.
The Yankees were going to go after him, I think.
Dodgers.
And the West Coast teams.
You don't think the Red Sox have a shot?
No. I want to ask Stacy about Koufax. Now, he's one of my favorites. He's got a...
That's because Rico couldn't hit him.
Well, and a few other guys, too. But tell us about that. You got a couple of Koufax. And I just saw, I'm not sure where it was, might have been a blog or where they're selling his glove. It's up for auction.
Yeah, I can't remember. One of the auction houses has it.
So anyway, but tell us about him. He was great.
Yeah, so we have, a few Koufax cards in the auction, and really a really great selection of rookie cards in general this auction that we're really excited to be representing. Chuck can probably speak a little bit better than I can to the very specifics because he's been really hands-on with that lotting process.
Mm-hmm. Chuck, great cards.
Yeah, and, when I hear Koufax, I think of stories my dad told me of watching him to play. My dad grew up in Philadelphia. And but when he talked about players that he liked, Sandy Koufax was probably the only opposing player that he talked a lot about.
He was a gentleman, right?
Dominant he was.
Koufax,
great guy. Oh, he was class,
right?
Class guy. And I grew up in Brooklyn. He grew up not that far from me. He was a lot older than me, but great basketball player. Had scholarships to top schools. But boy, he was
not a really big guy, right?
No. 5'10", 11.
Did you play against him?
In spring training.
No, in basketball.
No. He was older than me.
He wasn't that much older than you.
Yeah, a lot. About 10 years old. All right,
no, he was.
Maybe one or two.
All right. And talking about my dad, his rival high school in Philadelphia, Wilt Chamberlain played when my dad was in high school at his rival high school. Wow. And it's always fascinating to hear stories about having 4 or 5 guys on my dad's team trying to guard Wilt Chamberlain, and you just couldn't stop him.
Real quickly, Chuck, then I'm going to ask you one more question about some of the lots. But Rico hates me to tell you this, but Rico was actually a better basketball player than he was a baseball player. Rico was first team All City in New York City, and was offered scholarships to UCLA, Maryland, what else?
That was football.
Duke.
North Carolina.
He was a North Carolina point guard. But the only reason he became a professional baseball player is because they waved the money in front of his nose.
No.
Get out of here.
My father said $65,000
I'll take it.
My son, he's a good boy.
Hey, Chuck.
Rico, is that how you knew Koufax was he a point guard too? Did you play against him?
No. He was a couple of years older than me, but I think he was
He was a
point
lefty
guard,
too.
A
wasn't
lefty, yeah. No,
Lefty
terrific.
shooter?
He was terrific. And I saw him. I worked out at Ebbets Field because they wanted to sign me as a pitcher, and he was there because he was so wild, and so they had him out there throwing 10 feet past the mound, just anything to see, get him in the strike zone. But man, he could throw. Yeah. He was upper 90s. And he had a curveball that was.
It was 12-6, right?
12-6, and it whistled.
Wow.
Hey,
listen, anyway. Chuck, before we let you go, educate us on Pokemon. Because, again, another thing we don't know a hell of a lot about.
Yeah. The trading or the trading game industry, whether it's Pokemon, Magic, and now Disney Lorcana, really, even sports collectors are migrating for their rarities and looking for some of the rare items that are out there. So we're trying to, source and find some unique items every auction. We have some neat items in this auction.
Good for you.
That are Pokemon. I think next auction we might have some pretty interesting Disney Lorcana items, which is a game like Pokemon that is kind of taking the industry by storm a bit. Try to have a little bit.
You have to adjust
of everything in every auction, and newer stuff too. Like in basketball, Victor Wembanyama is the new rookie. Have a really neat Topps autograph rookie of him in this auction, as well as, like Stacy said, every Hall of Famer you can think of, rookie cards, sets, partial sets. It's a good mix, and everything starts at $5 with no reserve. So people get in there and have fun.
All right, what's your website address?
It's www.wheatlandauctionservices.com. Auction ends this Sunday evening, December 3rd. Lots will start closing at 7 p.m.
Fantastic, guys.
Great.
Have safe travels back, Chuck and Stace. Happy holidays if we don't talk to you guys.
Happy holidays to you too.
Take care.
Thank you.
Chuck and Stacy Whisman. Nice people. Nice people. Yeah. All right, we're going to bring in our star today, star of the show, Mr. Provenzale, the man with the golden voice. From Heritage Auctions. Michael, how are you?
It feels like you're overselling me a little bit.
No, Mikey. Mike, everybody, when they hear your commercials, it's just like women want to throw their underwear at you. I mean, it's
Tom Jones, like
Tom Jones, exactly.
Well, appreciate that.
You should hear Chrissy.
It's been filtered and gone through so many mixers to make it sound like that. So I'll let our engineers know.
When Chrissy hears your voice do that commercial, we have to start yelling at her to press the buttons because she just melts. That's all I'm saying. Anyway.
Well, I'm free to do cameos or voicemails for anybody interested. Reasonable rates.
Hey, Michael, I got a question for you. It seems as though your Sunday auctions, I tracked them, and you guys seem to have the best deals on your Sunday auctions. Is that the case? Because, some of the pricing is a lot more competitive on your Sunday auctions. Can you shed a little light on that?
Yeah, so every Sunday we have a weekly auction close. They run for 2 weeks, and then extended bidding closing Sunday night. A lot of people, I run into people all the time at shows that think Heritage only sells 5-figure, 6-figure items, but we sell things for every collector. And in those weekly auctions, you can find items from $100 to $2,000. So, and there's always some unique, interesting items in there and some good collections. I'll say we're very excited in our weekly auction that opens this weekend. We have some items from Eric Nadel, who's the radio voice for the Texas Rangers and has been for 45 years.
Very cool.
He's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. And we've got some things from his collection, including the note he wrote before Game 5 of the World Series this year for his final call for the Rangers winning it.
Very cool.
And it's all going to charity, mental health charities. So that's one baseball and Ranger fans should check out.
Yeah, that was a great World Series. I don't know what the how many people watched it, but I'm glad for Texas.
Some it is. Hey, what do you collect yourself, Mike?
Yeah.
Mostly Dallas Cowboys related material.
Oh, they have a team?
I'm just a good American, so that's part of it. And I collect comics and comic-related material as well. Sports, some Longhorns stuff. That's the tough thing about working at a place like Heritage is, you see the most incredible items, and then, I can't afford them. And then when you go to buy for yourself, it's not as good as what you have sitting on your desk waiting for you at work. So mostly what I collect is stuff that has a lot more sentimental value. I was 12 years old when the Cowboys won that first title in the 90s. So that team is really close to my heart. And I've got a lot of Troy and Emmett and Michael Irvin and Larry Allen stuff that is mostly only valuable to me.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Can I ask? You got time?
Yeah, we got about a minute, and then we're going to do.
Well, no, I wanted to ask him because our last guest we talked about Pokemon. You have Pokemon cards or whatever the hell they're called, and you got much interest in them.
My kids are interested in them. They do not have any that are valuable, but they do love Pokemon. But one of the 55 departments we have at Heritage is trading card games that does just Pokemon and Magic the Gathering and all those trading card games. So that is an area of the industry that has really exploded. I mean, we've got a whole department. We have 5 experts, and they have catalog auctions that are just trading card game cards. It's one of those things we're seeing so many things from the 80s and 90s that people thought were worthless 15 years ago. And then all of a sudden that nostalgia really kicks in and it has a lot of value. Yeah. We have a video games department, we have a VHS department, and those things fall into that time frame right there.
All right, we are chatting with Mike Provenzale from Heritage Auctions. Mike is going to be with us for the entire hour. We got a lot to cover, but right now it is time for On Deck with Rico.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Your favorite and mine, On Deck with Rico Patricelli.
Okay, it's time for our segment On Deck with Rico. Brought to us.
I got a question.
Wait, I got to have to read this.
Go ahead, yeah.
We got a sponsor here.
I know.
Time for our On Deck with Rico, brought to you each week by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. And Pro, feel free to jump in here. This question was submitted by Tom Hamick.
Hamick, yeah, oh yeah.
Hamick, Haimik.
Okay.
Rico,
Hamick. Yes.
You played against Jim Palmer many times. How did you do against him is the first part of the question. And second part, how good was Dave McNally? Let's talk about Palmer.
The old Baltimore team, just to let you know, when Frank Robinson and Big Frank and who just passed away, Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so third baseman. But anyway, they had a great team. And Palmer was one of the top pitchers in baseball. He had a great fastball, pretty good curveball, a little changeup, but he's upper 90s. Believe me. Anyway, I didn't, not too bad. I don't think I hit for average that much, but I hit some home runs off him and a couple of handle shots. I thank God. Oh, it fell in. But
was he an aggressive pitcher?
No. He was really kind of a slow windup, and then all of a sudden, boom. McNally was a little easier to hit for right-handers, but he had good stuff. He was like Whitey Ford, hit the corners, off-speed stuff, little sneaky fastball. But I think I had better luck off him. But Palmer was great. Well, Hall of Famer.
Probe, jump in anytime you want.
Well,
I have a question.
I've got go ahead. In this job, you see some really unique items.
Yeah.
And Jim Palmer had those famous underwear ads.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And we had somebody that had the billboard, the covering for the whole billboard of him in his underwear.
Remember those?
They wanted to consign. We didn't see eye to eye on value, so we didn't take it. But that one has always stuck out in my mind. That somebody out there in their
he's a
garage
very good-looking guy.
gigantic billboard of Jim Palmer in his underwear.
Yeah.
Which was it? The 70 or 71 team that had the 420 game winners?
Yes.
Was Cuellar,
Yep.
McNally,
Yep.
Palmer, and Pat Dobson.
Right. Hey.
Right?
All right.
And Dobson wasn't that good a pitcher.
No, but they had a great team. Anyway, so that's the answer.
Interesting. All right. I think we're going to take a break now.
All right.
And when we come back, it's going to be another Gax moment. Mike Prov is in the house. We got a lot. Mike, we're going to really hit you with some biting questions when we come back.
I'm ready for the fastball.
Fighting.
We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, welcome to another Gax Moment brought to you by our good friend Paul Borges and PB Collectables, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectibles.com to find a special card or piece of memorabilia. PB Collectibles in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island. This week, I want to talk about a player that's kind of close to my heart. Grew up 4 blocks from me, or I grew up 4 blocks from him. This is the strange story of Johnny Broker. I typically talk about specific cards or memorabilia or discuss various investment strategies. But this week I want to talk about a ball player who mystified many people and not necessarily his cards. When I was a kid, this guy would walk past my house in the late afternoon. He was usually dressed in blue jeans with work shoes and a sweatshirt and looked like he needed a shower. One day my dad was standing out front with me in front of the house. As the man walked by, my father made a comment. "There goes Johnny Broker. He could have been a Yankee great." Johnny lived about 4 blocks from us in Lawrence, Massachusetts, a mill town about 25 minutes north of Boston. Branca was an outstanding athlete at Lawrence High School, starring in all of the major sports, and academically was at the top of his class. He transferred to the prestigious Phillips Andover Academy in nearby Andover, Mass., where he excelled there, and later attended Yale University, where he was the star pitcher on the baseball team. The Yankees came calling and signed Johnny, but he wanted to finish his Ivy League education first. When he finally joined the Yanks, Broker was successful. He finished 12-9 as a Yankees' third starter his rookie year, 1934. But he developed a reputation as being aloof and antisocial with his teammates. But he was exceptional as a pitcher. In 1935, Broker went 15-7, and in 1936, the Yanks won the World Series and the pennant, with Broker going 12-7. They won the World Series that year. In 1937, things changed, and Broker began acting more and more bizarre. That year, he also got married, and his wife became pregnant. With his wife 8 months pregnant, Broker abruptly left her as well as the Yankees and disappeared. She accused him of abuse, and the court granted her a divorce. Broker wound up back in Lawrence, attempted a comeback 18 months later after jumping the Yankees, but his skills had declined from the layoff. He attempted to become a boxer, but failed at that miserably. He wound up working for the city of Lawrence as a laborer, never made contact with his son, who lived nearby, and spoke to no one. I remember as a kid, he would show up at the local high school games and softball games and sit by himself and not talk to anyone. Johnny Broker was found dead in his apartment from an apparent heart attack in 1985. He was 75 years old. No one could ever explain what happened to Johnny Broker. I guess we will let sleeping dogs lie. And that's another Gax moment. Interesting story, huh?
Yeah, very interesting.
You know, there's always been speculation about what happened, that he had problems with some of his Yankee roommates. I don't want to get into specifics because a lot of it was just rumor. But, 15-7 as a rookie.
Ooh, that's
playing for
good.
the Yanks, right?
I think he might have had some mental problems. He got depressed.
Yeah,
stuff
obviously.
like that, and it's not common, but there are players over the years, when you're out of the game, especially, you have a tough time, adjusting to regular life.
Prov, I can remember as a kid just always walking by the house, always with a little paper bag, probably bringing back his lunch or, and people used to say hi to him. He was sometimes, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
And just keep on walking. Interesting story, Michael, huh?
Yeah.
I agree. And I'll tell you what sticks out to me. If you're going to fail miserably at a sport, boxing is the worst to fail miserably at.
I know.
Because if you fail at basketball, your shot's getting blocked. If you fail at baseball, you're striking out. But in boxing,
you're getting knocked out.
Brains.
Right. Prov, is the light going on for young collectors today, finally?
I think we're seeing
Let's ask him.
No,
the convergence of, in the last 5 or 6 years, a lot of young people have come into the industry, and all the information they need is right there on their phone. And, when we were doing it, you had to know somebody, you had to learn by trial and error, you had to go to shops and glean all this information. but everything they need is right there on their phone for anybody, whatever age you are. And I think that first influx, a lot of the kids and the new people coming in were just excited, maybe made some bad decisions. That's all part of it. And you've seen some crazy prices for some of the modern cards, but it's a trial and error process. And, the industry was at such a high when all that was happening, sky high prices for things that people were wondering if that could maintain it. And then things have kind of reeled back. The industry's still up from where it was before. But I think you're just seeing a lot of people going through that same learning process that we all did back in the day. And it's a good thing that the industry is kind of stabilizing and getting a little more normal. And everybody, all those people who jumped in 4 or 5 years ago, now they have 4 or 5 years of experience, and that benefits everybody.
Does inflation affect any of the auctions, the prices, obviously? I mean, the bids come in and whatever they are, that's what you have to go with, right? I mean, unless it's ridiculously low. But anyway, does that have any bearing on the industry?
So this is something we talk about internally, our coworkers, all the time, is these exterior things like inflation and prices and the stock market. How does that affect our industry? And, what we've noticed is some of the toughest times for our nation financially have been good times for our industry. In 2008 and 2009, there was the recession, but the hobby did well. And during the pandemic, the hobby did very well.
Yeah.
So, it's something where I think in those times when there's tough financial times, people have to sell things maybe they don't want to sell, and there's always people there to buy it. So it kind of balances it out industry-wide.
You know something, Mike? We've talked about this before. Again, using myself, and I've done this before as an example, I've gotten a tremendous return on my investment over the last 30 years on what I've bought between cards and memorabilia.
Now you're just bragging.
No, I find it surprising. That, and I talk to my financial advisor all the time, and he's a dear friend.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. And I can't fathom why some of these guys don't make that part of their investment advice if they take the time to learn the hobby. I mean, and he and I bust chops because he'll make a recommendation to Ellen and I, and we'll buy a stock or we'll invest in something. But then I'll show him the return on my green cob. You know what I mean? And he shakes his head, and I'm saying, Bob, why don't you guys consider, encompassing this and make it part of your customers' portfolios?
It's a great point. Our industry has been a great earner, especially if you're looking at it at decades at a time, from where things were in the 80s and 90s to where they are now. And in the last 15 years, we have seen a lot of people diversifying their portfolios that just did the stock market or real estate or things like that. And they're jumping into collectibles, and we especially see it with 55 different departments. Whatever people are passionate in, you've got a leg up. Nobody grows up knowing anything about the stock market or real estate. But, if you're a Yankees fan or you're, a Celtics fan, you're going to have a leg up jumping into our industry. Or if you read comics, or if you were into coins, or if you were into jewelry or handbags or whatever it is, there is a collectibles market out there that can help you diversify your portfolio. And we've seen a lot of collectors diversifying their collectibles portfolio. A lot of people that, with Heritage is the biggest coin auction house in the world. We've had a lot of coin dealers who are jumping into sports cards in the last 10 years.
That's interesting.
It's a very comparable thing. They're graded. There's population reports. Comics, same thing. We've seen a lot of people who they were doing one type of collectibles, and then this comics has really grown over the last 15 years. And they said, I know these guys, I know these stories, I know these artists, I know this industry. So within just your investment portfolio, we've even seen collectors branching out, getting into jewelry or art or things like that. So it's a good decision.
Very interesting.
That is. I was just thinking, your advice to young new collectors, not necessarily new, but should they do that? Should they look at comics, look at other types of memorabilia?
Should they diversify?
Absolutely.
Even right from the beginning. When I say the beginning, somebody that's maybe not a young
yeah,
kid.
but you got to learn. You can't just learn. You've got to learn the
industry. Yeah, I see.
I'll tell you what's been intriguing me. I went heavy from cards, which I don't do anymore, quite frankly, to memorabilia, which I like. I really enjoy that. But you know what I've been really paying attention to, actually, on your auctions, on our auctions, historical documents. There's some really cool stuff out there. And I'm talking about, letters signed by John Adams or Abraham Lincoln, or George, documents. Yep. I kind of find that intriguing, and that seems to be a market that is really growing.
It is. We have a great historical department, and when you're talking about things like that, those are good, solid investments because, if you're talking about Washington or Lincoln or Lindbergh or Chaplin, these great historical figures, it's like Ruth and Cobb and DiMaggio. What they've done is set in stone. It's not going to change. They have their place in history. So if you're making educated decisions on what to buy in that genre, it's stuff that has a great chance to hold its value and exceed it. And I studied history at UT. I'm a huge fan of the historical genre. There are so many cool things out there. I have a few great daguerreotypes, from the Civil War.
Cool.
And, those are great pieces that are conversation pieces, too. If you have them on display, people are going to say, is this a George Washington autograph? Is this a Paul Revere document? And it has great crossover.
It really, just some really cool
stuff.
It's
like amazing. Wow. So, but let's get back to bats. Tell me what you got in bats, because I'm a bat guy. I like the cards.
I have a bat.
Oh, get out of here, you.
Michael, I'm going to tell you the story.
Oh, don't do it.
Oh, I got to tell him the story.
Here we go again.
So, Mike Hefner, Leland's.
Great guy.
Wonderful guy. They had an auction last week. And I don't know how we got in the car. Oh, I had the catalog. But then Hef happened to be guest hosting, and he sent me an email. He says, you're not going to believe this. Look what we have. It was a game-used Rico Petrocelli bat from 1976, which was his last season before you were released, before they threw you out the door. And he said, there's a possibility that this may be the last bat ever used by Rico Petrocelli in his career. So I didn't know.
That should be in Cooperstown.
Anyways, I showed Rico an image of the bat, and it was different from the U-21. Was that what you used?
U-1, yeah. But there was a W-215, Ted Williams model.
So explain that you got hurt. Your equilibrium was off.
Right.
And in the second half of the season or the last month of the season, you started using that bat?
Yeah. That's late in the season.
So on the air, I'm going to ask you this. Is that enough provenance for Rico Petrocelli to say, this was, I think, the last bat that I used? He said it on the air. And guess who bought the bat? I won the bat.
Wow. Well, you probably needed an extended payment plan for a piece that lofty. But that's good provenance. But I always say with things like that, even though Rico has a sterling memory, players sometimes you can't always trust players 100%. I've seen a lot of instances where players have signed bats and said, I hit this home run, or this was from the World Series, and then the photo matching turns out it wasn't.
So I'm going to ask you this question.
The last thing or the first thing, I think that's a little stronger provenance because you're going to remember things like that.
Did anybody, at your last game of the season in '76, was LC there? Did anybody take pictures?
No.
You have no photographs of you holding the bat?
No.
Nothing.
Of course not.
But did you know it was going to be the last game? That's the thing.
No, because I went to spring training.
Sometimes they don't.
No, he did spring training the next spring, and I went back to a U1, and
that really helped.
But it was spring training. Yeah, really. Went to spring training, but that was to me, that's the bat I used at the end of the season, my last season.
And then they called him and they said, bring your playbook.
Well, that's just like Mantle. He went to the spring training in '69 too. He didn't make the decision until later. You know, some people call it quits after their last game, and some try to keep going, and you never find out till later.
Prov, guess who caught Mantle's last pop-up? Who do you think caught it?
Rico?
Rico did.
Wow,
Yeah.
Did you hold on to that ball?
No.
Don't stop.
You didn't.
Well, you know what? I got the video of that. Somebody sent me the video.
Doesn't matter.
No, wait.
You don't have the ball.
I thought I threw it on the mound. It was the third out. No, there was a man on first base. He pops it up. I go a little into the grass, picks it, I catch it, and then I throw it to Mike Andrews at second base. You know, because it was,
Why don't you call
it was
Andrews
1 or 2 out.
See what he did with it.
No, he doesn't have it.
He does. You asked him.
This is why you can't trust player provenance.
That's right.
Exactly.
Unless they do it in the moment. In the moment, you can trust. But decades later,
I didn't realize it.
Some of the historical stuff that's gone through your hands.
Oh God, bald spat, please. I could have been a multi-millionaire.
Exactly.
But that's why that stuff is valuable. If people knew back then, they would have held on to everything. Everything would exist. But because they didn't know, and it was just discarded. Like, you know, how many Mantle jerseys did they send down to the minors and rip the 7 off and the name?
Gotcha, good point.
That's why there's only a handful.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I want to ask you this. This is going to be blasphemous, but you guys have a 1975, I believe, unopened cello box in your auction coming up. Question is, I can't wrap my arms around that whole concept of buying a box and not opening each pack individually. If it were me, I'd roll the dice, baby, and open up those packs. I mean, what is the purpose of buying unopened packs and not opening them and just looking at them? Talk to me.
Well, 2 things there. Rarity for that vintage wax. Yeah, because people do open them, so they are getting rarer. And then the other thing is the nostalgia and the aesthetics. I love 70s unopened wax. 72, baseball, football, and basketball. That is my favorite year for unopened wax. It's all incredible. Just the visuals of it. And it really takes you back to what it was like when that was sitting on the shelf somewhere.
I would keep the unopened pack, tape it back up so I can look at it.
I do not recommend opening that vintage stuff. I just saw on Twitter over the weekend, somebody opened a 52 Topps pack, and Al Rosen was the best card in there. And they were off center, and there was production issues.
That's rolling the dice. That's really gambling.
Of course.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break. Mike Prov is in the house. When we come back, Scotty Russell from the Collector Connection is going to join us. I don't know if you guys know each other. I think you do. I think you know Scott. You're going to be with us to the end. Hang in there. We shall be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden Auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
For the best on-time service and new ideas for your next project, give Petroselli Marketing Group a call at 800-264-4294. It's free, 800-264-4294, or go to their website, petrosellimkt.com. We have clients all over the country.
Wait, what did you cross out there?
Like the beginning, it's too much.
Excuse me, I wrote that.
No, I wrote it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I'm crying out loud.
All right, no, it's my oldest son.
You're cutting corners.
He's going to take care of his father. What?
By the way, just real quickly, we got Scott. He's going to come on with us. Can you get some more hats for us? But not the cheap ones, those good ones, like the Petroselli marketing hats. Those are nice hats. These things, crap.
You know, I've had this. How many
I know, a long time.
7 out of the 8 years we've done this. It's cheap. He won't buy us new hats.
Forget it. I don't like it.
See what I mean?
I don't like it. All right, let's bring in Scotty
Anyway.
Russell from the Collector Connection. Scott, how you doing?
Oh, pretty good. How are you guys?
Good. Do you know Mike Prov?
Yeah, we've crossed paths. I don't know him, but
good.
I know his fine work.
He does. Does a good job.
That's good.
Scott, you've got another auction starting December 3rd? Oh, when is it? The 3rd?
Wednesday.
Oh, wow. So that's tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
tonight.
it's short turnaround to get ready for the holiday.
Right. That's great. And you've got some great stuff. I see you got a 68 Topps number 29 Gordie Howe PSA 9.
Yeah, that was an amazing set that came in, actually. We had 2 Howes. One was gradable, so we sent it in. And that's, I think, one of only 11 9s, and there were no 10s last I checked. So that was a pretty special find.
What some of the other things, I'm looking at this. You got a lot of hockey stuff. Yeah, Mario Lemieux. You got an 83 O-Peachy wax box. Tell us about some of the hockey stuff that you have.
Yeah, well, we always try in the hockey, at the beginning of hockey season, sort of like spring training, everybody's hopeful. So right now, nobody's team is out of it, and interest in hockey gets high. And then, again, around Stanley Cup time, but then it's really just the people who are left. So we try and get a good amount of hockey in the holiday auction every year. And so we put the word out, and some of this stuff came in.
Well, speaking of the holiday, do you do more business during Christmas or before Christmas time?
We actually used to worry because this auction only runs 11 days as opposed to our normal 18. And we used to worry that it would be a lackluster auction.
Yeah.
And the 4th year doing it, it's actually been very comparable to our longer auctions. And I think because we end it in time to ship for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm a Jackie fan, and I see that you have a 1948 Bond-bred Jackie portrait. You said there's some evidence of trimming. Is that the one with the facsimile autograph on it?
Yeah, that's the facsimile autograph, and it's not evidence of trimming. The borders are gone. So,
but it's interesting. That piece has become kind of a hot piece. I picked one up a couple of months ago at an auction. Joe Tomasulo recommended it, and it wasn't even his auction. He said, there's a great card, you should make it, and I did, and I'm really glad I made the purchase. Is Jackie, Jackie's still pretty much in demand, isn't he, Scott?
Yeah. You guys were talking about historical figures earlier and documents and whatnot, and I think Jackie is right up there with some of those historical figures you talked about, like Lincoln. He is a piece of American history, not just baseball.
I agree with that.
What's the 1983 O-Peachy wax box, BBCE wrapped? What is that all about?
Baseball Exchange is the name of it.
It's a wax box of unopened packs. You guys were talking about vintage stuff earlier. It's not quite as old as 70s, but it's a good 83 O-Peachy box, which is tougher than the tops.
Okay.
Unfortunately, not a lot of great rookies in that box. 84 would have been better, or 82 for that matter.
Yeah.
But they're getting harder to find because they do get cracked, especially when that one will be somewhere around 1,000, maybe 1,500. So you're not bankrupting yourself if you open it and don't do well.
Yeah.
Scott, the 54, and Prov, you can jump in here too. The 54 Red Heart issues, I always thought that was a beautiful, beautiful set. Is it stagnant, or is it kind of picking up a little steam?
We had a really nice mantle a couple auctions ago, and actually all the ones in this auction were from the same collector. He had a complete set. And the mantle did okay, but not anywhere near an equivalent 54. There is no 54 Topps mantle, but if there had been one in the grade we had, it would have definitely gone for more. So there's definitely not really a premium on the Red Heart yet, despite the fact that in high grade they're much harder than Topps.
It's a nice looking set. Prov, what do you think?
They're gorgeous.
Yeah, great set, underrated, and I would say that Bond Bread set is criminally underrated.
Yeah.
Those Jackie cards, that's the true rookie, really. Not unlike the 51 Bowman mantle. And I'll be interested to see what that one goes for. Those examples are very hard to find, but a landmark set that came out before the season even.
Yeah, I bought mine. It was a private sale. Guy needed the dough.
All the movers and shakers.
Well, he needed the dough, so I figured, something, I can help you. He needed the dough, so I helped him. What?
No, that's good. He's a helper. There's millions and millions of collectors watching and listening.
Finish your statement.
No.
That's just a fact right there.
Yeah. How do they get to you? In other words, there's people that say, "Oh, you got this and this in your auction," as you're talking. So through your website.
Yeah, it's real simple. Just thecollectorconnection.com, all spelled out.
You don't have a catalog, Scott, do you?
No, we don't do catalogs because we're too short between auctions. We would never have time. That's all we would be doing is making catalogs. Unlike some of the bigger guys, we don't do these multi-million-dollar auctions that justify the cost.
Prov, I'm going to throw you a little. In Italian, we call it a little botta, a little curveball. You guys put out a great catalog. There have been times when I've received your catalog after the auction ended. You guys need to kind of work on that.
Well, you should talk to your postal delivery service.
Yeah, it's not them. You kidding me?
But you know what the best thing about it's great bathroom reading. Hands down.
Oh, those catalogs are beautiful.
They're awesome. They are awesome. I'm just telling you. They're great bathroom reading.
So either way, but basically how do you get new customers?
Go to the website.
Wait, that's what I'm not asking you. I'm asking them. It's
Well,
basically,
and so will Heritage. We'll be at the Philly show this weekend. So I hope everybody comes out.
Yeah.
And sign up people at the shows.
Yep.
Philly, Chantilly, the National.
Just so our the kids, guys that are collectors want to know more information, because say you don't have a catalog, through the show and through the National, through these other shows, they get to know you.
Yeah, but you have your regular customers too.
Yeah, but I understand that. But
as a dealer before I got my auction license, I did know a lot of people in the hobby, obviously, before day one of the auction, which obviously made a difference.
Speaking of the Philly show, how's that for a segue?
Wow.
East Coast Sports Marketing and Hunt Auctions are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, December 1st to Sunday, December 3rd. Held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center Hall at 100 Station Avenue in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Shop our expanded 100,000-plus square foot show floor with over 250 of your favorite hobby dealer booths of sports collectibles heaven. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 10 and under get in for free. Autographed guests include Philadelphia Phillies fan favorite and 2008 World Series MVP Cole Hamels, Eagles great like Brian Dawkins and Randall Cunningham, Ron Jaworski, Harold Carmichael, and many, many more. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started. Scott, you're pretty much a regular at the Philly Show, right?
I've been there for quite a while.
Really? All right, so your auction starts tonight, which is the 3rd. And when does it end?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was a week off. The auction actually starts the 29th.
Ah, okay. It starts, and when does it end?
The 10th.
Ends the 10th. Fantastic, man. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah, best of luck with
any other what else? What other items do you have? We got about 2 minutes.
In addition to the couple of Red Hearts you saw, actually further down in the auction, we have a nice selection of like 6s and 7s in the Red Hearts. A lot of the Hall of Famers, and even some of the commons. It was a set we broke. So there were some that didn't merit grading. So there's a lot of nice eye appeal, probably VGX, but high eye appeal cards too. So if you're working on a set, whether you're working graded or raw, you can do some damage on your Red Heart set.
Very nice.
We challenged the Yankees game after having that incredible one that was unpunched over the summer. Somebody saw the results on that and consigned another one. And now this one's punched. It's nowhere near quite the unicorn that the other one was, but they still don't come up complete very often.
Awesome. TheCollectorConnection.com. Check it out. Some great items. Mike Prov, as always, great having you on. Scott, thank you for coming on with us. If I don't talk to you guys, have a really, really happy holiday. To our viewers and listeners, we love you guys. Thank you for all the support.
Yes.
Happy collecting.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.